Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're a new listener, welcome. If you're a veteran, welcome back. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about should you agitate your own dog?
Could you?
Could you?
Or can
Should
you?
you or could you?
Should
I
have,
mean,
could have.
it goes both ways. Or
Yeah.
could be both questions. Could you? Should you? Or is a dog going to like turn on you? People are wondering like,
Yeah, gonna
no.
rip your liver out.
Yeah, this is crazy. Don't do it ever. Like, I'm sure you heard all the
Yeah. Well, general consensus is not to do it, right?
not to do it, right? It's like, yeah.
But
But you've done it many, many times.
yeah,
And Hans is going to explain just,
and
some
none of the
things.
dog turned on me.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. You still had the leadership position, right?
Well, look, you have two ways. You know, when you can do either working protection or sport.
Mm-hmm.
If you do sport, you most definitely can do your own dogs,
Yeah.
because the dog is targeting the sleeve on your arm,
Yeah.
or equipment or whatever. I'm talking like Schutzhund or whatever type sport.
Yeah.
And there, you can teach all the routines yourself.
Yeah.
And then, once or twice a week, you go to a club and test it on somebody else, other helper.
Uh-huh.
And but that's not really what I want to talk about. But that's done on a regular basis,
Yeah.
or used to be anyway.
Well, it's good to explain the two or the separator.
Yeah, but it's because in sport, you're teaching the dog to target the equipment. It's kind of game, basically. That's what it is.
Performance.
Yeah. Where in real protection, the way I teach it, where we build it on defense drive, it's much more iffy, somebody may think.
Yeah.
Right? And I had these dogs. I bought like 5 dogs, I think it was, or 4. They had these names by dances: tango, mambo, cha-cha.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I trained them myself.
Okay.
Protection. And people say, you cannot do that. Well, you should not do that if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it's definitely more of an expert.
Right. But I did it, and basically the way I did it, why would you even want to do it? I tell you why. Because your biggest expense as far as training goes is to hire a decoy to come to your property.
That's the biggest problem I hear also in these forums is get a decoy. Like I see this all the time.
Right. So you pay decoy $150 for show or more.
Yeah.
So I did it myself. I played decoy for my own dogs in defense.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I would do my routine as it is described in the videos which we are selling.
Yeah, the personal protection video.
The personal protection video on the Alpine Canine Reel. And alpinecaninereel.com.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And I would tie the dog. By the way, when you're tying dog, make sure it's a chain and not a rope.
Yeah.
I've done a rope and the dog just jumped right through the rope. My decoy was coming in. His name was Billy, and Billy was coming. He got out of the car. No, it wasn't Billy. It was a different guy, and the dogs were ready, tied up to the stakes and all that for the agitation. And I bought this nylon, really strong rope and had it doubled.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the dogs, I forgot which one it was, he would just turn around when the decoy got out of his truck and jump right through it, just one jump, boom, and went right after, and I yell, oh, and dog was already in midair, and he bit him right here in the chest, and he let go, because I yelled fooey, and he stopped, but you don't want this to happen. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't think dog can jump through it.
Yeah.
A rope size of your index finger doubled.
Yeah.
With one jump.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
So you need to use chain. Use chain.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be a good video on how to, how the chain should look like for the dog when you're tying them up.
Okay. Yeah.
So you tie the dog to a good solid stake, nylon, 2-inch wide leather collar, choker, and I give the dog command and I come at them as I'm teaching in my videos. And because I'm good at decoy, the dog, kind of look at me like, you're my dad.
Yeah.
Right. And I come at them, and they start, whoa, whoa, whoa. I keep pushing them and get them completely out of their mind. And right.
Yeah.
And when we do the it's okay, I say it's okay. And then they shut down, right?
Yeah.
Like we do during the protection on regular decoys, so stretch decoy. I did it on myself. I would say it's okay.
Yeah.
And I taught them it's okay before I did the agitation, right? Before the protection training.
Yeah.
So I would sit on the couch, watch TV. I would say, it's okay, and pet the dog. It's okay, pet the dog. It's okay, pet the dog. It's okay, pet the dog.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the dog, I would say, it's okay, and dog, oh.
Yeah. It's like the Pavlov.
Yeah. Classical conditioning.
So make sure you do that before you.
Yeah,
so you
and then when I did the
diffuse.
agitation, I would say to the dog, it's okay, and then we'd shut down and we could pet and we were buddies, right?
Yeah.
And people say, you cannot do it. I said, look, I used to do judo, or when you box with your best friend.
Yeah. You're not.
It doesn't mean,
mad at
and then you can
You
stop,
might kill
right?
him or something. Yeah.
I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying I could do that, right? And I've seen few other people who could do that. And so you can go through many sessions in your own time without decoy. And then when the dog is really good and ready, I call the decoy maybe once a week or once every other week. He would come,
Okay.
and then
So you kind of
I
mix a
direct
little
the
bit.
dog, and I would stay a little bit away from the dog,
Yeah.
so he cannot reach me.
Yeah.
And I would say, alert command,
Yeah.
pozor,
Yeah.
right?
Don't say it too loud.
And the dog would turn on and start looking at me, and the decoy would come and tap him with a stick,
Yeah.
and dog would turn on him, and I say, good boy, that's it, good boy.
Yeah.
And they get it.
They get it. Yeah. Yeah.
They get it.
So people think that, I don't know what they think, like dogs don't get
Well, they
like,
think there's some kind of, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
So,
right. I don't know
yeah,
what they think.
Yeah.
And I just communicate to the dog, and dogs, you can just see how the gears turn in their head and say, oh, okay, right?
Yeah.
And they turn on him.
Yeah.
And I do it a few more times, right?
Yeah.
And I say, pozor, and the decoy always comes at the dog, and I redirect and the dog never comes at me
Yeah.
after that.
It's like they know a real situation too, versus if you're just walking in the park and someone says, hey, how you doing? Dog, versus like, they want to attack you. Like they would know. I mean, they know. They know.
Right. But so I've done many dogs that way. As a matter of fact, I trained some of those dogs and sold them to police.
Okay. And they did great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of them, I think his name Cha-Cha, I think. Not Tango went to Canada. I forgot. Anyway, one of those 5 went to this Indian reservation here in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
He had 2 apprehensions, real ones.
Yeah.
So
you have to, disclaimer, you have to know what you're doing here. It's not.
Yeah. It's not the easiest things to do, right?
Yeah.
And if you are new, you got to understand, by the time I start doing this I trained probably several hundred dogs, already.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting that once you start doing it, it's okay. The dogs figure it out. And the hardest thing is, and it's not hard, is to transfer the dog from him addressing, targeting you to target the decoy.
Mm-hmm. Was that most?
It's a bridging, because you see, we talked about bridging, right?
Yeah, we did numerous times.
The bridging is the decoy then does exactly the same thing what I used to do.
Yeah.
Right. So I give the dog command. He start looking at me. I'm just standing there, and the decoy start doing the agitation which I used to do. So I bridge from what I do onto what the decoy now do. The other strange decoy does to the dog or with the dog.
Yeah.
It's called bridging.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once the dog gets the idea, hey, they get it.
Yeah. In this instance, though, bridging, because bridging we talked about, there's still a default, but in this instance, you can transfer
The default is on the action.
yeah. I mean, I'm talking default of the equipment default. That's what I mean.
Right.
But,
right. But this is, that's a good question. People say, well, you saying whatever the dog learns first does the most best, whatever, right? The default. And he says, you teaching him to attack you. I said, no, it's the action. It's not who. Because when I train protection, the dog will be attacking random people, right? In police work or if, so it's not who he's attacking, but why and in what drive and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
That's what becomes default.
If somebody's wondering if they're watching this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like, Hans, you said that. Yeah. So, yeah, but that's important to understand the difference. So it is possible.
It's possible. It's not easy.
Not easy.
And it's probably, if you have to ask yourself if it's possible, probably cannot do it. So
not yet.
Not yet.
You need more.
Yeah. But I know other people who've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could probably do it with your dogs.
Maybe. Yeah. Either way, you gotta. I mean, I think people that are listening to this podcast. We don't know. I mean, there's some beginner or different stages. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, you get people who don't know much and they start doing it and then it may go south.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's possible. I don't say you should do it.
Yeah. And not desperation, but it was finances too that you needed to in a way it was you were forced to do it, not to do it, but to like you had to figure it out. You had to. I mean, you had to do it. Like it wasn't like an option.
Yeah, just like as I said, if you have two friends doing martial arts or boxing or something, like sparring together. Yeah, it's like sparring.
Yeah,
and then you have a beer together later.
Yeah, it's amazing at training what we do. So the decoy sits full on. The dog is going at it with the decoy, and a decoy sits down and we say, it's okay, it's okay. And then the decoy pets the dog.
Right.
I mean, ultimately, similar concept.
Right.
A little bit.
It's exactly that.
Same concept, yeah. No
yeah,
difference.
I told them at first what it's okay is.
It's okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And diffuse the dog.
I never seen it once, even remotely, where the dog would even chomp at or want to go after. But because people asked that on one of the videos, basically, I think that was the question about the decoy. Well, if the dog sees a decoy in public somewhere, will it go after that was the question, I think.
Well, it could happen.
It could, yeah. But
that would be undesirable association. But when it start happening, you just say no. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right, and the dog is trained to diffuse at that moment.
Yeah, which we did an episode on that about the difference between control and diffuse. Diffused, yeah.
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
But it's not published yet.
Maybe it's not, or by the time they're listening, they could be. But that's a good one.
Right,
that's a difference too. So.
Yeah, we should. We should all publish.
Yeah, we have some good ones in the hopper. Anything you want to add to this one, Hans? Anything? Just
no. I just add up disclaimer. I can do it doesn't mean you can do it.
Yeah,
that's what I would want to say. And then also I would say, if you ask your question if you can do it, then the answer is probably not.
Yeah,
but it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. I see a lot of it's interesting with so much fancy equipment and fancy this and that, but I mean, fundamentally,
it's like when 1982 when I got my green card,
I know what that is.
Yeah,
we got ours too.
I got me a gun, card. Right?
Yeah,
a Beretta 92, right?
Okay.
And I still have it.
Okay.
There's still shoots and still real bullets flying out of it and still kill.
That's what it's
right. And people keep buying guns because they're sexy.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with the equipment for the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this veg. I remember when we started training dogs, there was no such things as veg.
Yeah.
It's just sleeve.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. That's it.
Now you have veggies and different kind of veggies and salami and hidden sleeve.
It's good for business, for the people that make it.
We used to use hidden sleeve. We put communist red law newspapers, Sunday newspaper with electrical tape.
Yeah.
Put it on arm under the. Now you got to spend $200 on a hidden sleeve.
Yeah.
But once the dog bites into it, there's a sleeve.
Yeah. But
you cannot use it anymore.
The concept is fundamentals are fundamentals. That's kind of nothing really much changes, right? It's fundamentally what you're teaching what thousands of years ago were taught.
Well, I figure if it worked for thousands of years, it's probably still going to work.
Yeah. That's what blows my mind is all of a sudden the last 20, 30, 40 years, whatever the small time span, they say, with that, we figured it out. Or we Hans hates the word debunked. But we debunked it. It's like they came up with something new, but it really happened.
There's nothing new under the sun in dog training.
No. And many things too, but yet, in the same time, Hans calls it a conglomerate where there are all these parts that you have to assemble. It's, as you call it, like the Swiss watch.
Right.
Like people have the parts for the watch, but it's not a complete watch yet.
You got to put it together in a certain way.
In order for it to work.
Not just put it together, but you got to put it together in a certain way.
In a certain way, yeah. What do you call it? The
succession. Yeah. First this, and then that, and then that, and then that, and not the other way around.
Yeah, there's reasons for that. So... and you're still, Hans always says that he's still learning in the sense of, hey, if you have a better way, let me know, and I'm listening.
Somebody just told me the other day that I'm living in my own head, and I'm just, I said, so where should I live, in your head? I get these weirdest.
When they come up with something, they say something like that.
Yeah,
right? It's like,
Hans, you got to stop living in your head. There are other things out there.
But tell me,
That's what I said. Just tell me what they are. And those are crickets. I never heard from the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, but easier.
But I like to learn. I really do. I would like to. So, this one guy just recently, and it kind of made me think, I have to say. I asked him, well, how do you train the dog protection and all that? And he started talking about how incrementally does this or that. It was a pretty interesting concept. I still have jury on it. It would be a good system, but I still gotta think about it.
Has he been doing it for a while? Or
it was. I forgot who it was, but it was on Facebook.
Okay.
And he said, whatever.
Okay, that's fine. But as you said, you get impressed by less and less, or not impressed. It's not about being impressed, but as far as the knowledge, people want to, or something they have an idea.
People tell me you should try it, and I tried 30 years ago already. So but I'm not. People say you got to be more open-minded. I'm open-minded, but I'm not open-minded to something which I already decided and prove to myself that there are better ways to do it.
Yeah.
I don't need to go backwards and keep re-evaluating what I already evaluated.
Yeah. But because we do, so I've been training with Hans for almost 3 years now, but wouldn't you say that through the students, when you're sitting there, there's things go through your head and through us too, you're kind of, you're testing things too.
Well, I do some things, and sometimes there's so many unintended consequences.
Yeah.
And the unintended, to your training.
Yeah.
And a lot of those unintended consequences are different for different dogs and different handlers.
Yeah.
Right. So you may be doing something 100 times, and suddenly you have a canine tip and it doesn't work, or something suddenly come up. I say, oh yeah, I see how that can happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
But it does, so you learn by keep doing it,
Yeah. You have to be on the field. You just have to do it. That's bottom line. You have to show up.
There's no substitute for doing it.
You have to show up.
Yeah.
Basically. That's the big one kind of thing. With anything, dog training to, I don't know, it's like gardening, right? You got to show up and shovel and you got to fertilize, whatever you got to do, the plants will die or whatever. The crop will not be as good.
Yeah, I
right?
planted. I had this volunteer plant growing in this pot, which was empty, and it grew up beautiful Palo Verde.
Okay.
And I was taking care of it and all that, and then I forgot about it for like 3 days, and it was like 120 degrees, and the thing got fried and it's dead now.
Yeah.
And that's what happens if you don't pay attention.
Pay attention. Yeah, it's so true with anything. You really have to love the process of that. And if you don't love the process, the days will come when it gets really difficult, when it's not that exciting in the sense of just seems like everything is against you.
You got to stick with it, and that's a hard part when you train, when you do anything.
Yeah.
And I always say there's like a 4-year burnout. If you can work with the dog past 4 years and have dogs and raise dogs and breed dogs and do it more than 4 years, you probably will never give up or stop, right? But within the first 4 years, that's where most people just give up.
Yeah. It gets hard. Everything. It's not what you. If you enjoyed this content so far, please subscribe to our channel. Also, Hans has a podcast channel called Dog Training for Life. Check that out so you can listen to the audio version. People have ideas of things, but once they start doing them.
Yeah, it's not just fun, I mean,
Yeah.
when I have the class, I'm trying to make it fun a little bit for people. But a lot of it is just repetitions,
Yeah.
You just got to keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over, and then apply it to different scenarios.
You go through the summers are brutal here in Arizona, and it's about 3-4 months of that, and
but we train every week.
Do it, and there were some hot days, but do it. So
yeah, you got. We train every day. I mean, every week.
Yeah,
we train.
Yeah,
so never quit. We quit for COVID because they chased out of the park. They wrapped the benches with yellow caution tape. And
but that was extraordinary times. But other than that, there's no weather related quitting. All right. Well, thank you, Hans.
Yep.
If you're interested in personal protection dog training, how to do it step by step,
and puppies and personal protection dog buying.
Oh, that's right. I forgot to say it on the other episode. If you're looking for a young puppies or a young prospect, Hans is your
trained dogs.
Trained dogs, yeah.
For police or family, whatever.
Yep. I got my dog from the female from Hans, and she's awesome. She was 2 years old. She's great dog. So if you're looking for any age, basically almost any age dog, these are the real deal. These are the dogs that come from the lineage of the Border Patrol, lineage of
or the type anyway. If not
type, anyways, or they're well-tempered, friendly. That's what's so great about my female. She's super friendly, petaholic, but if need be, she
kicks ass.
So that's a good. Those are the type of dogs that I think most people should have. Also, if you want basic obedience video, Hans has that to the 10 commands. Also, Hans does
Out of Drive.
What's that?
Out of Drive.
Out of Drive. Yeah, Out of Drive. Yeah.
There is a podcast just now coming up.
Yes, Out of Drive.
Out of Drive obedience. I just evaluated it yesterday.
Okay, that's a really important one. That's a big. That's which is what's wrong with training today. But the one-on-one training, Hans does that. So just go to Alpine Canine Reel and click on one-on-one training, and you can pick your time, 1 hour, 2 hours, or 3 hour time slots. And you can have
one-on-one. What do you call it? Coaching?
Coaching. I mean, coaching / help. Sometimes just like help.
Behavioral problems.
It sounds as if the dog is peeing on your couch, or all the way to the level of if you want to learn more about personal protection or whatever.
Yeah, law enforcement, dogs issue, personal protection, search and rescue, whatever.
Hans is a library, basically, so you're going to get a library knowledge.
Now you're making me blush.
Well, hey, that's my job. So go to alpinecaninereel.com and check it out. So, we will see you guys next time.
Ahoy.
Bye.